Hey Aquarius, how you doing? Come on in, sit for a spell. We're going to dive into a view of what 2026 has in store for you. Already something wanting to introduce itself there, which is kind of interesting because when I was getting set up to film your video here for your reading, there was this weird sort of tech glitch where it kept wanting to get set on time lapse and then slow motion. So there's something going on here where there's some kind of time lapse. Something's maybe slowing down so you can spot a detail, something you weren't aware of before. There is sort of this state of suspended animation just initially coming into your energy, but the slowdown serves a purpose. Like there's something that becomes apparent to you you wouldn't see otherwise unless there was this drag in energy. Maybe it's understanding where the drag in energy is coming from. You don't notice it until you slow down. 111 on the clock. Yes, there's something you need to understand here, something you need to see to transform an element, an influence, a factor in your situation that's been dragging the energy, slowing things down. And that's why the slowdown is occurring. So you have an opportunity to actually clue into what this is. Okay, I think this is speaking directly to this. So I want to see what this is here. Ooh, okay, yeah, it's about turning around this energy that's been really anchoring everything, preventing it from taking off, you know, setting sail. It's coming through as a very clingy energy that wants to have some kind of control here, but I feel like you're about to get a different perspective out of this. You're going to move out of a sort of hanged man position where things have been in a state of suspended animation, because you're going to recognize what's been catching the energy up, what's been creating the drag. And that's what's going to allow you to bring balance into the situation. Coming in with that 11 energy, you're able to balance something out, and then you can finally pull up your anchor and set sail here. Get to your destination. Maybe you've had your sights on heading in a particular direction, but along the way, something got anchored down. You're cluing in to what this is about. You're getting a different perspective. Maybe there's been a little bit of slowdown in activity. You'd been really busy up until fairly recently, and then all of a sudden there was like this slowdown. And when things slowed down, you started to notice certain details that you weren't aware of before. This has something to do with catching up a very controlling energy. You haven't seen it before, but you're about to clue into this and effectively navigate this situation. Let's dive into this, okay? We're going to start out getting your theme for 2026. This is for all Aquarius placements. If you have a prominent placement in the 11th house, or if you happen to be a Leo rising, that makes you an Aquarius Descendant. Also, if you're clued into your chart and you know you got a major Aquarius transit going on, or something transiting your 11th house in 2026, you might want to clue into this. It can provide insights. And of course, you can always cross watch or just tune in because you feel pulled to the read, okay? There may be something here for you. So we're going to see what is the theme for Aquarius in 2026. What is the theme that opens their year, that colors the landscape up ahead? Well, it looks like your road is opening. So something was holding you back from heading in a certain direction. Your energy had been experiencing a drag because there was something that was exhibiting too much of a controlling influence here. But I feel like you're finally getting an understanding of what this is, what's been anchoring the energy, what's been preventing you from setting sail in the direction you want to go. And you're going to be bringing balance to this. I think The details around this, the information you need are going to be coming in soon, and this does set you out on a new road of exploration. I see this new road of exploration really coming in for you with the Capricorn new moon that arrives on the scene in January. So maybe by January 28th, during that lunar cycle that leads up to the Leo full moon on February 1st, this might be when you're actually making some plans to open this road of exploration. It's something you've wanted to explore for a while. It might even involve looking at relocating, looking at moving to a new area. There could be a house that's connected to this, your desire to sort of lay roots somewhere other than where you've been. There is a sense of exploration around it, also a little bit of an adventure. There's something about moving in this direction that does require you take your head out of the sand. You got to face your fears. But you do have strength for the journey ahead, even though it may seem like quite a long, strange trip. Wherever you're going, there's something about a lot of adventure on the journey to get there. There's a lot to discover. There's a lot of confronting of your fears too. I do feel like you do need to travel light as you head in this direction. And there is a bit of treasure to find here too. It does have the vibes of like a treasure hunt, but I feel like the treasures may be very different than what you're anticipating. It's like you view the treasure maybe as being some type of gain, some type of monetary gain or some type of material gain. You feel like this will move you into some kind of greater expansion. And then along the way, it's sort of like you get duped a little bit. You get duped into facing your fears and you discover what the true treasure really was all along. It's very interesting, but you're getting your coordinates here. Something that aligns you with your destiny, with your north node there. And it may have something to do with relocation, looking at a new place to lay down roots. It may be revisiting your place of origin, you know, maybe going back home, connecting with back home. You know, there's something to be discovered there, but whatever's going on here, it does turn your wheel of fortune and a brand new cycle kicks off here. You could have a strong Sagittarian placement, or you could be connecting with a Sagittarius. There could be just sort of that link to the Sagittarian energy, wanting to experience something new, wanting a new view, wanting to broaden your horizons, wanting to have an adventure, feeling a little daring, feeling optimistic, like, you know, I might be able to hedge my bets here. It just might pay off, and it might seem a little strange, you know, where you're going, what you're doing here may seem a little out of character, but I feel there's something that's kind of thrilling about that. That's how it's coming through. It was, 8:08 on the clock. Okay, 8:08, yes. 8:08, on the right track here, on the right path with 8:08. It is a little bit surprising though, where you're setting your sights, the direction you're heading in. It's coming in with a lot of crossed energy. So yes, this is like an intuitive hit you have about your place of alignment. This could be you finally really valuing yourself too. For the feminines out there, you're in a position where you truly understand where you're being led here. So you're just allowing the openness for what wants to approach you. In the feminine energy, this is an energy that's receiving, okay? It's also intuiting here. It's really feeling that there's something coming in here, and one is in a receptive place, ready to receive it because of some kind of, it's coming through as like inner authority, really having gone through a journey in and of itself, really discovering who you are and feeling a sense of inner strength and empowerment. For masculines, I would say this would be about really starting to open up more into, you know, the reality that, hey, you know, I need love too. I want to be appreciated too. I want to be valued too. Maybe dipping into a little more of your feels, maybe around a particular person too. I do feel like there's a lot of signs and synchronicities that are coming in relation to a queen of interest here. And this could be coming in with Aries energy. We see the hawk medicine coming in here. There could be messages coming in that are signs that this link is coming into view, right? Something you're picking up intuitively. Yeah, there's some connection here. Something that is manifesting on the other side of what has been digested in relation to an old karmic cycle. And it is coming in with the energy of the Hermit here. So there's something in the South Node that needed to be transmuted, completed, wrapped up before you could come into alignment with. It feels like it's somebody maybe that there's always been this sense of connection with. Maybe you've gone through many different cycles with this individual. And it's coming in with 11, 9 and 2, 11 again. So there's some kind of justice coming in here. 11, 11. There could be a Capricorn connection because 11, 11 came in pretty significantly for them as well. But there's something that's being freed up here. Something that was out of balance is coming into alignment, and his new cycle begins again. And there might be something here about this time we get it right. This time it endures. I'm also just seeing this 8 energy here. So there could have been something that needed to be digested. There could be an 8 correlation, a life path 8 involved in this. Somebody born in the 8th month in August. Okay, so a Leo, a Virgo could have been connected to this. And something is finally balancing out. There could have even been 2 separate parties in this situation who needed to balance out elements in their own personal history, situations, before this could come into alignment. And I think this is what's coming into view. But I mean, this is opening up a brand new door of opportunity. So I feel like there's a lot of doors of opportunity to explore for you in 2026. There's a lot of new visions that are awakening for you and a lot of possibilities about your future. And it looks like they lead to the manifestation of your happiness. Big Leo energy coming through here. So you could be a Leo rising. This could be coming in very strongly for you, but I do feel like there is this beautiful point of alignment here. And it is coming in with the energy signature of 14. So that is that alchemizing energy of temperance. Something is coming down to divine timing. There could be a Sagittarius connection, also life path 5. Something is going to go through a rapid transformation too. So where it's been in a state of suspended animation, I think as soon as you figure out where this dragging sort of anchoring energy is coming from and you pull that anchor up, you release this connection, you catch up this energy that's been trying to exhibit too much control, you'll realize what a little issue it is. It's just a small detail, but you know, they say the devil is in the details. So it's those little things that you miss, the things you sort of write off as being insignificant that can have a really insidious sort of eroding kind of influence on your situation here. And you're figuring out what this is and you're finally getting this digested. It's something that was really draining power or kind of like keeping you in a repetitive sort of karmic loop where you found yourself in the same kind of naughty situation again and again. Now that could be like a little bit of a wordplay too, like sort of drawn in by vices or, you know, oh, it's okay to just sort of like play with this a little bit, but not really recognizing the way that that was actually quite a tricky element that could get you quite caught up. But also I feel like naughty, like there's something that's been really knotted, held in place and needs to be rectified here. Yeah, I mean, I see like releasing the anchor completely. Like there's no more attachment to the anchor. It's like you're pulling it up and tossing it away, right? Definitely getting your coordinates. Let's go ahead and do a cut of the deck here and see what we got. Yeah, there's a tricky influence here though. I see it, okay? Could be coming from a Capricorn. It's possible. There could also be some kind of choice involved in this situation. It's a little bit complicated. There could be somebody in this situation that has a drinking issue. They party a little too hard. When they party, they have quite the temper on them. It gets really messy. It's caused a lot of problems, maybe even problems in a family dynamic, or had somebody acting terribly out of character here. There's a lot of aggression here. There's fighting, and there's two people fighting here. So I feel like there's been some kind of volatile situation here, maybe made worse through somebody having a drinking problem. I mean, I just have to bring it in. It always comes through for me when I see this. I think there's been people kind of moving in such a way where it's sort of like led very impulsively. They haven't really been thinking their actions through. There's been some kind of mess that's been caused here. There could be two people here that have been problematic, you know. You may not have realized what you were getting pulled into too. I kind of have a sense of this. Something was a little, I don't know why I got this, but like sort of like sleight of hand. It's like you don't recognize the way you got sort of duped into something, caught up in something, until this slowdown happens and you can finally understand what this tricky energy is. And once you suss it out, you uproot it, and all of a sudden everything becomes clear. It's like things start to click in place. You get the keys you need to open up doors of opportunity that weren't there before. Yeah, this has been a real stealth influence. It's been camouflaged. And it sees that there's about to be like the dawning of a new day for you after a storm you went through. There is something that's balancing out for you here. It is coming down to timing, but first, like, there needs to be a slowdown so you can see what this camouflage influence is. There's a fox in the hen house. Somebody's super sleuthing. Like, it's got a little bit of keeping too close of an eye on what's going on with you. 14 energy, temperance, Sagittarian energy coming in there, and Sagittarian energy coming in here as well. So you could have a real strong Sagittarius placement, or you could be dealing with a Sagittarius, but there's a road opening here, and it is the Wheel of Fortune, and it sets you off on this adventure. So I do feel where you've been afraid to balance something out or take an action in a particular direction, you're getting over your fear. And you're getting the details you need to search out your treasure. And it's like you discover your treasure on the journey. I feel this, and it might not be like what your initial inspiration is. You come across a different inspiration along the way. Okay, let's go ahead and let's look at your love. What do I want to pull for your love here? What am I drawn to? I think I'm drawn to this Paulina tarot. I call it my fairy tarot, but it's by this artist that was inspired by life in New Orleans. Wow, look at this. Justice on the bottom of the deck. Strong Libra energy coming through here. Okay, so something's being balanced out. Could be balancing out with a Libra. There is something that is coming to a place of karmic completion. And I heard in some cases restoration in a situation. Right? Finding the balance in love. Let's see what this is about coming in here. For love for Aquarius in 2026. What's coming in love and romance for Aquarius in 2026? Bottom of the deck. I mean, you got somebody keeping an eye on you. There's a little super sleuthing here. Somebody may be preparing to make a move. All right, with the Page of Swords there. Often this is somebody keeping an eye online. Okay, so somebody may be checking out your social media, or, you know, vice versa. You could be keeping an eye on someone's social media, maybe preparing to send them a message, reach out to them, make contact, make your move. You know, or you got somebody preparing to make a move towards you. I mean, obviously, if you've been super sleuthing online, you know this is you, but it certainly could be somebody that's giving you that kind of attention. All right, let's see what this is. What's coming in and left? There might have been a lot of more kind of online romance going on, you know, doing a little bit of sexting, flirtation, slipping into DMs, doing a little FaceTime, this kind of action, okay? Showing up in the comments section, liking photos, you know, things of this nature, okay? I just heard somebody may have tagged somebody in something. That was a bold move, okay? Interesting, that was a bold move. Yeah, somebody didn't see that coming. With the 10 of Wands, it's kind of burdened them a little bit because they're like, ooh, God, you know, the pressure's on. I feel like somebody's feeling in the dark about something. They feel a little burdened here. They're trying to figure out how to lighten their load. Again, it's that dragging energy. There's this anchoring energy here. There's something that you really want to see grow, but you keep getting kind of, again, it's like trickster medicine here, coming in with the rabbit. I mean, it could be a little bit of insecurity or fear that's tripping you up, or could be tripping this person up. But there's something about being in the dark and trying to suss out information. I think that's why that Page of Swords is coming in. Somebody doesn't have the details. They want to move forward. They have a lot of attraction here. Coming in with a lot of fire with the Knight of Wands, hoping to turn around a previous disappointment, something that went awry. Could have been a situation, you know, where there was too much partying going on. Maybe somebody, you know, got a little carried away, you know, one night. They were out, you know, throwing back some drinks with someone. Next thing they know, they ended up in bed with somebody, and, you know, it created a complicating situation, or they got caught up in something that it looks like it became imbalanced here. It became imbalanced. And through this, there was like a recognition of like, okay, you know, I thought maybe I wanted that, or that seemed like it would fulfill me in the moment. It's got a little bit of player energy around it, like somebody who whizzes through to just like have a good time, but they're not there for the long haul. It's fun in the moment, and then it leaves you kind of deflated, okay? So there is this like Knight of Wands energy, very passionate. I feel like this is something that happened in the moment. Could have happened under the influence too, you know, just partying is something that was more casual, and then it ended up being a disappointing experience in some way. Somebody decided they wanted to shut this down. They no longer wanted this kind of more casual connection. If there's a pearl of wisdom that came through in that situation, this is something that you want to focus more on rather than looking at the disappointment and the complication and the messiness of what happened back there. There's the pearl of wisdom you need to take forward with you, because there's this rebirth energy coming in. There's some kind of romantic alignment, you know, second wind in love that wants to come in here. But it requires you to stop looking and sort of brooding over what went left in the past, and remember what you learned from it instead, so you can apply it to your present situation. Because you want something to grow. You want to revive something here. You're hoping to renew something, you know, head in a direction you really wanted to head in, but you got kind of sidetracked and things became really complicated. It could be somebody coming towards you too. I mean, I feel like this very much could be Leo risings here, you know. This could be really speaking strongly to you. I see a lot of fire that's connected to this. So there's some fire sign energy that's connected to this situation. And tell me more about this. I do think you got Ilde, the retriever, on the scene here, who's trying to help you remember something, a pearl of wisdom from that experience, so you can put it to good use. I do feel like where you think you lost something, lost an opportunity, something like this, there's an opportunity to recover what was lost. You're getting some assistance here, but you do need to change your focus. There's been too much brooding energy, yep, in relation to this third party situation, like Three of Pentacles here. There was definitely more than just one other involved in this situation, and something did get blocked. A road is closed, okay? I feel like the road that you want to head down, it's closed off to one of the parties in this situation. So this may be like there's a choice that needs to be made here about what road do you really want to go down. Because there's something here that can't come along for this ride. That's what I see this is. Looks like you got some choice to make in matters of love in 2026. And maybe there's some details here that you need to see. I think there's been a lot of egos and kind of showboating, a little bit of competition in this situation. It might have even put two people at odds with each other that used to be close with each other. So something here just really feels off. It doesn't work. It's actually like this arrangement, the fact that there's not a decisive action or choice being made that's creating all the complication and problems in this situation. It's what's slowing everything down and keeping this state of dissatisfaction in place. That's what I see. So this is coming up. There's going to be a choice that needs to be made. Which direction you want to head in. Because it looks like there's some kind of renewal energy, rebirth energy for two here. But one element in this situation has got to go. It doesn't necessarily have to be, another person in the mix. Although it certainly could be. It could be another lover, but it could be like a meddling influence that's problematic that, as long as that's in the mix, it's going to create constant problems. It could be that somebody has some kind of issue, a drinking issue, some kind of vice, something they need to resolve. Somebody could have a really hot temper. I mean, there's something here that it does not work. It does not work. So this is about really catching this element up so there can be a renewal in love where you want to see it. There's a lot of crossing energy here. So I'm going to see what the crossing energy is up here. It's not just crossing, but looks like it's also in reverse. No, okay, this isn't in reverse. This is upright. Crossing energy is the Page of Cups. So it's sort of this immaturity when it comes to like making an offer. The offer is wishy-washy, and that's why there's a problem. That's why there's a problem. It's like somebody will not be decisive and they keep everything in this sort of suspended in-between place. Maybe, maybe not. And because of that, there's a lot that's not really being addressed in a very clear, direct way. It is a way of keeping things held up. I do feel like this works for somebody, like they get something out of it, being ambiguous like this. But when somebody's being wishy-washy, one day it's on, the next day it's off, they can't make up their mind. They're like a kid in a candy store, like everything looks good to them. I just want to sample it all. I mean, I don't know. It feels like there's somebody in this scenario that's just like totally not interested in that at all. So it's like you can't have it all. It might have worked in the past for somebody where they could manipulate situations to get what they wanted, and work people in this way. But I think this is being seen through. People are starting to recognize the way that the lack of clarity is what holds everything up. It's what's causing all the conflict. And it's like, nope, to bring things into balance, that has to come to an end. Yeah, look. In order to step into this North Node potential where two can strike a balance with each other and come together. There has to be the gleaning of the lesson that came through the pressure, the clarity that came. And this gives something to stand on here. It's like plucking a diamond out of the void, you know. You may have been in a really pressurized situation. It could have brought a lot of heat, but there is something that needs to be seen here so you can strike the proper balance. And I do see somebody is doing this work. It could be a Sagittarius. We got Temperance energy there. Or it could be involving a Sagittarius. But there is some kind of North Node alignment here, it looks like. And somebody's going to take an action. Strong Sagittarian energy coming in with the owl there. They are owl on the medicine wheel. There is something quite magical about this connection. What's coming into alignment. You could have a strong Sagittarius placement. You know exactly the action you need to take. In fact, you've been considering it since the fall of this year, but you kind of held yourself back, maybe because you feel like you've been really wishy-washy in the past. And so you know that people aren't really going to trust the advance. They might look at you as a player. This is possible coming in for some. Or this person coming towards you knows that that's what they're kind of up against. The burden of their past, the way they've been in the past. So something needs to be sorted out here. But I do see, you know, the desire is there to balance things out. That's what's coming through. I think this action has been pondered for a while. It's about the approach, okay? One more card on this. Any further details about this? Yeah, it's all about this, you know, understanding I got to let something go if I want this to grow. And I'm facing that fear. And what's covering here? I mean, give it about 8 weeks. This has been coming in for so many people. I do feel like there's a lot that's starting to shift here. Transformation is already underway. I feel like this transformation first started in late fall, and it's going to continue to progress. So by the time we get to your new moon, Ring of Fire, on the 17th of February, Aquarius, I do feel like this transformation is well underway. But it requires you first seeing some details here. And then once this road opens up in love, there's like a lot of back and forth communication. There may be plans to travel. The arrows of love are certainly there. So where there were holdups, where things were in a state of suspended animation, I do see you opening up to the journey, to the adventure. You're going to face your fears. Cut of the deck here. Let's see what we got. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of growth that's come through this cycle. I think you've been pouring into yourself quite a bit. You've recognized that there was a need for personal growth here. You may have been sorting through a lot of your fears, your insecurities. Yeah, this is what you've been working on. Really balancing yourself out, which I think is smart. There might have been a piece, too, of just needing to be in a more stable position here. You might have been focusing on your appearance too. You might have wanted to feel really confident about heading in a certain direction. Yeah, I see there's a lot of fears here. There's been a lot of fears, and a lot of them are connected to the past. And this could be coming in really strongly around a Leo, or you could be a Leo rising and you have a lot of fears hanging over your head in relation to the past, okay? But there's some kind of beautiful love relationship coming in here. So where you thought it would be really difficult to balance something out, maybe you started making peace with, well, I'm just going to be on my own and that's the way it's going to be. I think you might be surprised how things turn out. But first you have to understand what's been anchoring this, what's been preventing this from moving forward. And once you rectify that, you get rid of this element here that keeps kind of holding everything up. I think you'll be well on your way, okay? We're going to look at your money, your financial situation, your business affairs next. I'm going to pull out the Gilded Tarot for that. It just seems fitting. Bottom of the deck. Interesting. So we have a Page of Cups here, and that came up in the love department. So yeah, wow, it's sort of building off that message. Maybe somebody has an impression that they don't have enough to offer. That's why they want to be in a more stable position financially before they approach somebody. Okay, so they may feel like they're approaching somebody who has like a higher income bracket or some level of status or something. They feel like it's sort of getting caught up in superficial things a little bit, I have to say here, right? There could be somebody, this just coming in, okay, as far as romance is concerned, there could be somebody who's a little too fixated on things like money, status, you know, there's a little bit of manipulation that can come in there. Do be aware of that. That could be connected to a water sign energy, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. You'll know if that applies. You know, maybe somebody only kind of comes around when they're down on their luck. That's the only time you ever hear from this person, when they need you to help them out or something. All right. Okay, onward. Why is that energy that was in the love, though, wanting to introduce itself into your money? That's kind of strange. I'm just noticing that, okay? Somebody's a little too fixated on what you got going on financially, Aquarius. That's what I got, okay? They're a little too fixated on that, on your status, on, you know, what you're building here, your business. Yeah, I don't like it, okay? It's a little manipulative. Maybe somebody's coming forward under those pretenses, you know, that they want to work with you, but they also kind of want to work you. I don't know why I got that. Be careful about mixing business with pleasure, all right? That's how it's coming through. I think it's better not to mix business with pleasure in 2026. This could be something that got you caught up last year, okay? This over this past year that you do not want to revisit, all right? It may not be the best idea to go into business with an ex either. 37 on the clock comes down to 10. Once again, Wheel of Fortune energy. Sagittarian energy coming through pretty strongly in this read, right? There's got to be a Sagittarius in the mix somewhere. Okay, so let's see what's coming in here for money, business, money. In relation to, maybe that's where Sagittarius is at. Sagittarius got the mind on the money on the mind. I don't know, man. Okay, so you're about to make an investment in a particular direction. I feel like you need to expand your skill set in this direction you're heading in. You need to learn more about this industry or what's necessary, you know, as far as licensing that's required or any kind of continuing education that you need. You may be doing some kind of startup too. You have like an inspiration, a creative inspiration, but maybe you're lacking the funds, okay? I mean, there could be a Sagittarius connected to this. We got the Wheel of Fortune here. If there's something that you do need to be aware of, there is a little tricky influence here that keeps getting something caught up. You're trying to get your Wheel of Fortune to turn. But there's this element that you do need to suss out. It's a little bit of a riddle to resolve here, okay? Something that just keeps your fortunes from really coming into view, all right? There could be a fixed sign energy connected to this. I mean, your energy is here very strongly. There's also Taurus, Leo, and Scorpio. Ooh, blockage around Leo. I mean, there's something going on with Leo, man. I don't know what that... Leo's like, don't talk about it. Okay, so Leo risings. I don't know. Is there something you're trying to keep a secret here in relation to maybe something turning for you, like some kind of increase in fortunes coming in for you? You don't want to get this caught up. You may kind of feel like if you let somebody in on some turn of fortune you're having in relation to your finances, that it could get you caught up. Pisces energy coming in with a hangman here. Page of Cups, that's a Pisces energy. So yeah, this could be like some kind of karmic situation. It could be a blind spot. There could be somebody that you have to be aware that they could have intentions that you're not aware of. You know, they want to work you a little bit or something like that. Okay, this coming in. It's that 12th house of Pisces. That's about karmic matters. And it's also about things that we're not totally aware of, things we don't totally see, things that worked against us, but undercover in a stealth sort of way. It can even be aspects of ourselves. So I do feel like there's something at the forefront here. I feel like there's some kind of turn of the Wheel of Fortune for you here in terms of your money. Once you resolve this like tricky influence here, yes, okay, I do feel like you're going to figure out what's been holding things back. And this is going to open up some doors of opportunity for you. With the Hierophant here, there may be something that's like been held up by legalities, red tape, bureaucracy, somebody in a position of power who gets to call the shots. You need to get them on board in order to get the go-ahead. But whatever's been holding you back and where you wanted to see this growth financially, I mean, some of you might be doing like a Kickstarter. And if you need the funding, I do feel like that's going to come through. Whatever this is, you do get, you know, these keys that open up your doors of opportunity. And this might be in some kind of business partnership. You want to partner with somebody on something. And this may be getting an investor and a backer, okay? Getting somebody in a position of power on your side that can assist with this, okay? I do think you'll get a yes. But we do have this water sign energy here on the bottom of the deck that is keeping something concealed in what they're offering here. You do need to be aware of this. It's on something you're growing for yourself here. You got some kind of treasure here. I mean, this could even be your idea. There's something that is your idea. There's something you've been developing here. And somebody wants to partner with you on it. I'd be careful, like if you're getting some kind of backing here, especially if it's somebody that you suspect has more than just business interest in you. You know, maybe you've been with this person before, you've been romantically connected before, there's been flirtation, like a mixing of business with pleasure with this individual before. Just be aware. Okay, because somebody could be more focused on what they can gain out of it. This is a very independent energy. Then they're focused on the partnership and what you can build together. And if this does involve like a backer, I would be really careful. Just make sure you look over the contractual agreement here, because they could really set it up where they profit big time off of your back, like off of your inspiration, off of your creative work, off of what you're building here, you know, yeah, backing you and getting a return for that investment, certainly, but there's something here that feels like you need to protect this because you do have something here. It's worth its weight in gold. And I see a lot of financial growth for you and just really getting your foundation in a good solid place, right? There's a lot of growth for you, but there's somebody here in the mix that does have their eye on this, and they're not making their true feelings known here. They're keeping something under wraps. You may feel called to keep something under wraps. Maybe you don't want to share it with somebody. Maybe you are already sensing that it's like somebody is really wanting to know what you're working on. You're like, I don't know if I want to share that with you. If you get that nudge, trust that. Because I feel like this person, they might be the type of person who kind of like takes other people's creative ideas and they pawn it off as their own. You got to be careful of that, okay? You want to protect this. So be careful of partnering with somebody on this. That's what I would say. And while I think that you can get some kind of funding or financial backing or investment, there could be details of that agreement that could really come back to bite you in the butt. So I would say if there's a way that you can maybe start your own like Kickstarter campaign, or, you know, get the ball rolling on your own and maintain total ownership of this creative property, this business idea, because I feel like it's something like this that you do need to protect and preserve. That would be in your best interest. I don't think it's wise to necessarily pull this person in. I don't like how there was too much of this sort of like sus, page of cups, page of swords, keeping an eye on what's going on with you energy here. So I do want to make that clear. There could be like some manipulation in this situation where it's not all that it's really cracked up to be. Okay. Balance things out, man. Yeah, wait for things to become clear, because I do feel like there's details coming in. It's like synchronicity is lining things up in such a way where you'll know when it's time to act on this and how you should act on. It looks like some kind of business endeavor. It's some idea you have, something that you need to invest in. It looks like independent financial stability here. I'm not seeing partnership energy here, but I do see this, 10 of Pentacles. I do see somebody wants to partner here. Okay, and it does come in with this sort of soulmate vibes. I mean, okay, so this looks like marriage. Somebody's got their mind on marriage. They could be very, very much, it does look like it's somebody you've been romantically involved with before. There's some kind of connection there. And there's this desire to partner here. Okay, this could even be somebody you were married to before. Or maybe you've talked of marriage. I mean, there's some kind of family connection here. The desire to make the 9 of Pentacles, the 10. There is like a soulmate energy here, starmate energy. And on the bottom of the deck, we have, once again, you know, temperance, wanting to balance something out. Okay. Is this partnership a good idea? This could also be somebody staying in a relationship, because there was that piece about maybe wanting to head off in another direction, but there could be somebody that's staying in a relationship for security's sake. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, we got Tower in reverse to Queen of Pentacles in reverse to 6 of Swords in reverse. So yeah, somebody experienced some big shakeup. It looks like in their foundation with somebody that they were in a committed relationship with. And they were going to move away from that situation. It's interesting, like finances and love is like bleeding together in your situation. But this person, they might have been an earth sign energy. Okay, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. They decided it wasn't worth it. They didn't want to sacrifice some kind of stability. Okay, they didn't want to leave the stability, the security of their marriage. But there was something here that created a lot of disruption. It's been a major blocking energy. So this could be something that's really holding things up for you too, just in moving things forward for you in terms of your financial progress, you know, your business objectives. There could have been, you know, something that went on here where there was a little bit of business and pleasure got all intermingled, and it caused some real disruptive event. It rocked the foundation, it rocked the stability. And where you thought somebody was going to invest in building a future with you, they ended up deciding not to, you know. They decided to play it safe. So this is where somebody that you felt like was a soulmate to you, or something ended up not leaving their marriage. Okay, so there's something here. Something was discovered, right, about some kind of third party influence here. And it could have even been like something that went down on the job, you know, and it got a little messy, or it created disruption in a business, something that, you know, a family business. And then this element came in and it caused disruption in the connection, in the marriage or something. And then that caused a lot of business problems. And there's just been a lot that's been out of rye. But I feel like somebody here is wanting to balance out a relationship. They're wanting to hold on to their stability. That's what I see. That's the truth. Okay, somebody's wanting to balance things out with somebody that at one point they were viewing as maybe being their ex, and they're like, no, I don't want to walk away from this person. Strong air sign energy. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, okay? So I feel like this is what's going on here. Somebody's trying to balance something out with another. And that's where their focus is really on preserving the stability that they've already created, building with another here. So this could be like in a marriage or a very serious commitment. Okay. You may have initially been partnering with somebody on a business idea, but things got messy because there was sort of like a blurring of lines between business and personal here, and it caused a lot of problems. So I feel like if somebody's wanting to partner with you and this approaches you again, I don't see you going for it. It rocked your stability too much, you know, and then you have to like build yourself back up again. Interesting the way this is coming through. So I feel like somebody's already building stability with another. I think either you're, you know, trying to mend things with somebody that, you know, you fell out with because of some kind of compromising situation here, where there was like a third party element that got involved. This could even be like a business partner got involved in the mix and everything just like went south. And it could have been because there was like some kind of, you know, clandestine situation there. I do feel that influence. It sort of bled into the storyline here. I mean, there's some truth that's seen in this situation. And again, in relation to contracts, okay, if you are going to get an investor here, you really need to go over the details of those contracts. Make sure everything's very clear and above board, so you don't get this funding, but it comes at a greater cost than you recognize in the moment. Okay, so just take your time with this. Ultimately, it looks like finances look good. I mean, we do have 10 of Pentacles here. I think you're preserving your foundation here. I think you're going to continue to build with who you're currently building with. You know, I don't see you breaking away from that. It's not worth it to you because of previous challenges you've already been through. Yeah. You're really leaning in to the wisdom of what you learned in areas of your work, your career, your daily habits. You know what gives you stability. You know what kind of pushing the envelope brings you. You know what a certain person involved in the mix brings your way. There could be a Virgo connection here, and you're just not wanting to press the issues. So I feel like they are going to approach with, it might even be like some kind of money-making scheme they have, some kind of idea for a creative partnership or something, and you're just remembering the way this screwed everything up last time. You're going to say no, okay? No go on this. That's the truth. You're turning this down. You're like, no, let's do a review of what happened last time. I still got the receipts, okay? I feel like that's what that is. I don't see you partnering with this person, all right? You're going to shoot this down, and you're going to just maintain the stability you've already built. You know, you might do something like a Kickstarter if you got a brilliant idea that you want to put in play and you need a little backing. Yeah, coming in with the Hangman here on the bottom of this deck. We're going to dive into your health. All right, so things have definitely been held up here. There's every indication you've been going through some kind of closing out of karmic cycles, that you've been dealing with blind spots, you know. Hasn't been the easiest territory that you've been moving through, but as you've been hanging out here, you've been getting a new perspective on your situation. So let's see what's going on in relation to your health. Okay, for the Hangman to show up, you may be waiting for some test results. Maybe you recently had a blood panel done. Or you're looking into some symptoms you've been having. Went in for a checkup. Some lab work was ordered. You're waiting. You're waiting to get the illumination of the test results to figure out what's going on here with your health. Okay. Let's see what's coming in here. Yeah. You might have dealt with a period where you were feeling a little bit run down. I feel like you've been resting, you know, taking some time to yourself. You may have been dealing with some kind of health issues. And you're waiting test results. You might have been sending up some prayers around this, or maybe somebody you love is awaiting some test results. This is something that's really on your mind. You're sending up some prayers. You're hoping for an optimistic prognosis. That's what I got here in relation to health. This could be something that's coming in. There may be somebody that needs kind of like a little bit of caregiving. They need some hospice care or something. It could be somebody dealing with an illness and there's like medical testing going on, and looking into an issue, researching alternatives, waiting to get some details about some recent lab work. Maybe discussing, maybe there's discussion in the family too around what needs to happen to provide some kind of care for this individual. Okay. What's coming in here around health for Aquarius in 2026? What's coming in around health for Aquarius in 2026? I think it's really necessary to get more rest, okay? You need to lower your stress levels. Maybe look at getting some better sleep, okay? Unplugging from stress. I mean, I like this, okay? It is coming out with the Leo energy, so I feel like where your vitality has been low and you've been run down, I think once you start a new protocol that has better stress management in play and you start really focusing on getting better rest, there's something about really needing to relieve your mind of stress, worries, anxieties, getting better sleep at night. There might be some kind of like exercise program you're putting in play too to allow yourself to just better release pent up tension. Like there's something here that's making it difficult for you to get good rest. I think there's just been a lot of stress. There could be some heart health stuff going on too, where you've been feeling run down. Maybe that's what you looked into. Maybe you looked into heart health. Maybe there's been like some pre-existing cardiovascular issue. And they say like a lag in energy, a slowdown in energy, just really feeling like tired all the time can be indicative of maybe something going on with the heart. Maybe you're scheduling a stress test. That could be coming in here too. You've been under a lot of stress. You haven't been feeling your best. You've been noticing some things coming through, maybe some chest pains, maybe some shortness of breath, feeling really tired. You might be taking up an exercise program. I also feel like you might have scheduled a stress test, or this could be something that's coming in, or somebody within the family is dealing with some kind of like cardiovascular issues, right? Their cardiovascular issues could be connected to some other health issue. And maybe this is what's revealed too from doing the testing, okay? I feel like there's a reinvigoration of energy though. Like there's something that gets discovered here. And this cat energy, it's making me think of secrets, you know? So something may be like a little bit of a mystery, like, I'm not sure like why I feel so run down, but I do feel like there's a looking into this, and then there might be something around getting some good exercise in resolves a lot of mental stress. It improves the sleep. It improves the oxygen uptake too. There might be something about getting more cardiovascular exercise, like getting the blood pumping, you know, getting the lymph moving. But I feel like this does the trick. Like there's something positive that comes through this. Yeah, there's a renewal here, okay? So I do see a turnaround in your health. And it does involve maybe taking a new approach here. You know, being very mindful of what you're taking in, making sure you're getting enough fluids, making sure that you're getting enough movement. I don't know why. I got sort of like these like blockages in like the cardiovascular lymphatic system. It's like something's almost creating like, it feels like a sluggish quality or like an edema kind of quality. There's a need to like get the lymph moving. Really important. Get the lymph moving. And I think exercise is a really good route for this, but there might be something about looking into getting a stress test, especially if that's been coming through for you. But I see healing coming in here, maybe through some good news, you know, coming through around a prognosis where it's an optimistic prognosis. Let's look at it that way. Maybe there's like some kind of treatment plan that you're putting in place. It's starting to pay off. You're seeing some progress. You're feeling a little bit better. Now you're starting to add some other things in the mix. Some alternative approaches maybe. You're starting to get a little bit more movement in. That's really helping. And there's something here about really getting the lymph flowing well here and experiencing healing. There's some kind of healing coming in here. I think you feel a lot more at ease too. If you've been really worried about the results of some medical testing, I think you're going to get some good news in relation to that. It might take a little time, okay, putting the new health protocol in place. But by the time you get to summer, I feel like there's some good news that the approach that you've taken, it's given you some really good progress in relation to whatever this health issue is. And it might really set your mind at ease. Or if you love somebody who's going through a health challenge, I think whatever approach you're using here, there's a good result that comes from it that brings like a lot of peace to your mind. So you could have been really stressed about somebody that you love that's dealing with a serious health issue, and there's some kind of renewal energy coming here. It's like they're getting a second wind. They're getting their fire back. Their vitality's coming back. They're feeling better. They're more calm. They're less stressed. Okay. And I think it's good all around. So that's some positive energy. I like that. Okay. That looks good. Let's see what your big successes and wins are in 2026. I'm going to go ahead and stick with this deck for a minute here because it feels right. What are the big successes and wins coming in for Aquarius in 2026? What are the big successes and wins coming in for Aquarius in 2026? What are the big successes and wins coming in for Aquarius in 2026? Let's check it out. I mean, I do feel like there is something foundational that you're really wanting to preserve here. You may want to have more of a sense of family togetherness. You want to get to the other side of a really rough, challenging phase in a connection that's important to you. It could be in a committed relationship. It could be in the family dynamic as a whole. And I do feel like where you're wanting to get to the other side of the challenges, there's some kind of togetherness that's really coming through here. This is like the family pulling together. This is loved ones pulling together. This is a a relationship that's faced a lot of serious challenges, getting to the other side of the storm. So I think this is one of your big wins. I think your heart is going to feel really full here. Just to feel like there's that sense of togetherness, again, where there was some kind of turmoil, disruption, rocking of the foundation. You know, it feels like with key people that you view as your family, your loved ones, and there's something that's being resolved here. I do feel like there's a sense of togetherness and a new resolve. Like, yeah, we're in it together. We can get through the tough times together. Let's continue to, you know, invest our energy here. And I think this is something you really want at this stage because, you know, maybe it was almost lost and you're really recognizing the value of certain connections that got damaged, and there's some kind of healing coming in here. So this looks like a big win for you. Some kind of resolution around some conflicts, some separations. This wanted to come out. It's been kind of stuck there. We got some crossing energy coming here. This is a crossing energy that fell away. So look at that. I mean, you're eliminating this influence. There's some emotionally manipulative influence that's been around the scene here that's been causing a lot of problems. Okay, Queen of Cups was creating a lot of blocking energy, but I do see you're sussing out where this manipulative influence is coming from. It could have been something that was stirring up a lot of problems, you know, in the family, amongst loved ones, in a key relationship, you know, somebody who was too mindful of other people's business here. I mean, I feel like this is what's getting cleared from the decks in 2026. This person's not going to have an influence anymore. This could even be a mother, okay, a meddling mother or somebody that you share a child with that was, you know, just too up in the family dynamic and was causing some problems, okay? You got crossing energy here too. Yeah, causing a lot of confusion, a lot of indecision. And there's something here with the Page of Wands coming up in the reverse and the crossing energy. It's like you weren't sure, you know, what the truth was in a situation. You felt very confused, okay? So I see you're getting on the other side of this confusion and you finally understand what the truth is in a situation, and that is going to change the whole game here, okay? This is a big win for you to finally suss out where the confusion was coming from, what was complicating a situation. I mean, we got the High Priestess on the bottom of the deck here, all right? So, yeah, this is the third party element. Could have been any water sign, okay, that was preventing some kind of healing, some kind of celebration, some kind of reunion energy coming together within a family dynamic, okay? This was just a meddling influence that was keeping you in the dark, creating a lot of burden for you, and I feel like you're reclaiming this healing. You're reclaiming this spirit of celebration by finally sussing out what this influence is and moving it out of your sphere. This is bringing a big win, a big victory for you. You're finally, you know, bringing everything together where you were having a real hard time resolving some kind of dispute with loved ones, prevented from really coming together with somebody that you wanted to come together with, you know, where your foundation really got rocked. Maybe even communication got completely cut off, okay? There's been secretive stuff going on here, manipulative. In some cases, if you know you were dealing with a kind of witchy person, they could have been casting some confusion on a family, on a love connection, on a situation, right? And in some cases, this could have been like a clandestine lover too. I mean, I have to bring it in with the High Priestess coming in, with the Queen of Cups hiding the emotions, keeping it concealed. It does have like secret love kind of vibe, somebody exploring their options. But there's like a rethinking this, if this was the correct direction to go. And there can be like this piece if somebody was sort of swayed to go in that direction because of misinformation. You know, the way somebody worked them, misled them, you know. They didn't understand what was really operating here, but I feel like you're resolving this, you know, and it's freeing things up for you. And it's allowing you to open up the lines of communication and start bringing about healing in a situation with your loved ones, with your family. Okay, and reclaim a spirit of celebration. Right. Some of you may be renewing vows, or some of you may be coming together with somebody and committing to somebody. You may be tying the knot. Not for all of you, but for some of you. I can see this, okay? Once this gets sussed out. Ooh, all right. I mean, maybe that was the intention all along, but somebody got misled here by a meddling element. Yeah, I mean, I think you've been fending off a lot in this situation. You've been a little worse for the wear, but this is what you're recovering here. You're recovering the truth. This is what's been concealed. So do look for this to come in the winter time, where you're finally able to decisively cut something off, because a truth that was hidden from you is revealed, and this puts a certain authority in your hands. And I feel like once this comes through, you are finally ready to issue some kind of communication. A healing communication opens up, okay? You might have to get somebody to bring down their defenses a little bit here. They're a little guarded, protective because of what went down here. I feel like you'll be successful with this, okay? I feel like there's success in this communication that opens up, that brings healing in a situation. And what's crossing here? Yeah, you're not here yet though, okay? It comes in with the energy of the Fool, right? I feel like there is like this acknowledgement of, oh gosh, you know? Somebody really feels like a fool for trusting this person and going in this direction. They realize that they shot themselves in the foot. They cut off their new beginning, you know, and they want to try to reclaim this. But it does involve like a healing communication opening up. And I think there's sort of a looking toward the future and trying to figure out what's the best way to approach this and open up this communication to create healing here. But I do see you're going to have the authority to do it, right? Because you got a certain power in your hands, as well as if this is somebody approaching you. I feel like when this person approaches you, you do feel like you're in a certain position of empowerment here, where the truth comes forward and you can see a situation more clearly, okay? Because you're finally put in the loop, okay? And that gets you thinking about your future in a new way. And this is going to be a positive turn for you. This is a big win. One more round here around your big success and wins in 2026 for Aquarius. Big success and wins for Aquarius in 2026. Okay, I mean, I think that's it. Coming to this truth that allows you to take a decisive action and open a road that was cut off to you because of some kind of manipulation and interference here. That's your big win. You're like freeing yourself. It's like you realize now the only thing that's going to hold you back is yourself, right? Because now that you know the truth, there's no kind of holding yourself in this pattern. So I feel like you're really recognizing that you are free, you know, to open up this road. And this is changing the game for you in 2026. Cut of the deck. Look at this. Finally, you know, with this understanding, what you want to come in can finally come in. And it's freeing you from all this stress and all this worry. Right? Really positive energy. I mean, I think you're sort of like clearing out the last vestiges of this though. It is coming in together with the energy signature of 12. So this is absolutely like being successful in closing out a karmic cycle. Seeing the blind spot, you know, seeing that thing that's been holding you up that you didn't recognize. And it looks like for some of you, this is somebody who is actively creating interference for you, and you're sussing this person out and you're getting the upper hand in this, and it's recovering, you know, recovering something that to you, you know, You can only understand its value through going on this journey. That's what I feel. It's like you had to go down this road and experience all the disillusionment, the confusion, you know, that came with this to really understand the value of what you're reclaiming here. Okay. What do I want to bring in now? Let's bring in the Uno playing cards. We're going to look at the unexpected, okay? What unexpected developments are coming in for Aquarius in 2026? What unexpected developments are coming in for Aquarius in 2026? What unexpected developments are coming in for Aquarius in 2026? Bottom of the deck. I mean, your road opening. This is huge for you because I feel like you felt blocked for a while. You know, maybe you felt like, how do I even move forward? Like, I feel really stuck here sorting through this mess, okay? Why do I keep feeling blocked? You know, finally you see a clear way forward. You finally recognize, okay, I got something to work with here. So you'll be quite surprised how your road opens for you where you were previously experiencing all kinds of blockages. So this looks positive. What is coming in here unexpectedly? Yeah, look at this. It's just reiterating it. Wow. So something that missed you because you were caught up and distracted by an interfering element is coming back around, okay? There's 3 of clubs in reverse, something that was lost, you know, an opportunity lost because you were all caught up in your head because of the way you'd been worked. Something is coming back around and you got another chance to work it out and bring balance in this situation, coming in with the energy of 11, okay? So you got another shot to get this right, but it does require you taking action here, I feel. This is about you. Because this is 8 of Spades energy and it's coming in reverse. So there's something here about being in a certain mindset that your happiness was dependent on, you know, someone else sort of taking the lead in a situation, because altogether it's coming in with the energy signature of the sun. Big Leo energy here, man. There's a Leo involved in this situation here, okay? That maybe is like lacked the confidence to really take ownership, you know, of what needs to be balanced out here. Like there's something too that connects to the past that really needs to be resolved, something that wasn't seen, all right? This also may be like a little bit of somebody swallowing their pride, you know, maybe admitting like, I got it wrong back there, okay? This is unexpected. You thought for sure, like, whatever this was, it's done, it's dusted, there's no way to reclaim this. And you might be quite surprised how it comes back around now that there's a new understanding. But there's something about it that does require you to, like, get out of your head and do what needs to be done in relation to that new understanding that you have in order to bring balance. But I think that's what the beauty of discovering this truth is that it finally makes you feel like, okay, I can do something now. Now I understand why things went like that, okay? So this is what's unexpected. You're recovering something that you thought was for sure gone for good, okay? You're recovering it. Yeah, you're recovering it. It's like it's really been blocked off to you. Somebody is just really not even, it feels like it's somebody. It feels like it's a connection that you're recovering here, or something you wanted to grow with somebody, develop with somebody, but something happened here that really made things go south and somebody's been very defensive, like not willing to even let this in. And I feel like this is what's unexpected. Somebody's letting down their guard because of some information, you know, they're coming across and they're recognizing, oof, that wasn't You know, that wasn't the right way to move. I feel like they're taking responsibility, and that might be very unexpected. You're not used to this person, you know, eating some humble pie, and they're willing to do that because they do recognize that they had it wrong. But I feel like there was like manipulation involved in the situation. That's why they got it wrong, you know what I'm saying? Let's see here, crossing. Yeah, you know, they now see a way to work this out. You know, there's a way to work this out. There's a way to work through the challenges here. Okay? And it does bring like some kind of peace to the heart. You know, finally, there's the ability to let go and come into proper alignment with what really does give your heart peace. So maybe this fallout or this disagreement or having somebody be very guarded, not even receptive to you because of what went down here, maybe that's something that's really weighed heavily on your heart. Yeah, there was some major conflict that went down here, but I do feel like this is what's unexpected, that you're going to be able to resolve a conflict and kind of recover an opportunity that was lost. So that looks really good for you. Let's do a cut of the deck here. Yeah, and there's moving forward here with a lot of purpose once this truth is arrived at. I do feel there's very direct communication that comes through, a real clear stating of intentions, real clearing of the air, and it brings illumination where a lot was concealed, and it's just taking the load off of you. Finally, you understand what happened back there, and there is like a turning of the wheel of fortune here, and it does work out quite well. It's through overcoming a tricky influence that was really holding things up. So this looks very positive. Okay, I like that. Good energy coming through there. It looks like getting to the other side of a lot of blockages, a lot of conflict, and balancing things out, really understanding what has value. Let's look at good fortune next. I feel like pulling out the Kipper deck for this. All right. Good fortune for Aquarius in 2026. Okay, if you've been concerned about any legalities, anything that you've been trying to balance out in negotiations, contracts, anything that involves any kind of legal process or maybe within a marriage, okay? I do feel like where you've had concern, there's luck. There's luck in turning this around. There's luck in balancing things out. For you, it feels like there's so much that's coming in here around needing certain information that's been missing, but that information that will put you in a powerful position is coming in. Came in at 1:22:22 on the clock. 2:2:22. Any combinations of twos are letting you know when there is the way through to balance things out in this situation. Also letting you know when a time of alignment is coming through between you and another. There's something here about the way to begin things again is on equal footing. Like both people need to feel empowered in the situation. That certainly requires illumination, you know, to be able to feel like everything's above board. There's complete disclosure is something that's coming through here, all right? But I do feel like you're working out some tricky situations, right? Where you're dealing with legalities that you're worried about. I do feel like there's a successful outcome here. There could be some kind of agreement that's reached. Right? There's something that comes through that pulls everything together. And we got a lot of community influence coming through here. So I do feel like your good fortune comes through your community this year. Maybe you're building community. You're bringing in some really solid people into your circle. And these people are good fortune for you. You know, they lift you up. You feel supported. You feel a sense of belonging here. Maybe your community is really rallying around you and they're helping you turn something around. They believe in you and they believe that you deserve another chance at something. You deserve the support. And so they're gathering around you and helping you turn turn around a really difficult situation. I think you got some good people in your corner, and that's giving you a feeling of bolstering, right? Maybe that's something that's a little new for you, to really feel like I got community that I can really count on. Like, people are really in my corner. They believe in me. They support me. Okay, a lot of good fortune coming through, building community here, coming into contact with new people who just offer a different kind of support and camaraderie than you've had in a while. And I think that's a blessing for you. Good fortune coming through your community. Maybe even through finding yourself in a brand new community, you know, maybe in relation to a move. Ooh, this is interesting. So, I mean, you could be going through legalities of, you know, relinquishing a marriage, a merger. Okay, we have official person in reverse and marriage in reverse. So this is your good fortune to free yourself from some kind of binding arrangement, right? Basis of the matter there is a wealthy man, right? Something that others may see is like a negative thing, but for you, see the number 22 there with official. With you, it's actually giving you a chance to balance something out. 22 plus 3, 25, 7. It's your chariot forward. Like there's some kind of arrangement that you're releasing here, and you're getting official word that this is finally done. You can finally be free of this, and it allows you to come into alignment with something that's more your speed, okay? And where you thought that you were going to lose big in regard to this, okay, especially if you were dealing with divvying up assets or something, I don't think you have to concern. I think something's balanced out here in an equitable way, okay? It feels even, and I think you're just happy to be able to move forward here. All right. This could even be somebody that you used to be married to or used to play a real prominent role in your life has had too much say-so in your life, too much control. And maybe you're finally like freeing themselves from that role, saying like, no, you know, this is who I'm committed to now, or this is what I'm invested in now. Like, it's time for you to kind of like move forward with your own life and, you know, let me live mine. Okay, so there's some, maybe even freeing yourself from an old connection, something that's been out of your life for like a long time. I feel this would be like a real serious relationship, a marriage, live-in relationship, something like this, where, you know, you became so strongly identified with that it was cutting off your ability to step into certain opportunities, right? Yeah, and this is allowing a brand new pathway of transformation to open up for you. This looks beautiful. There's light up ahead. You're getting through the dark wood here. You're starting to see your manifestations coming through. You feel a lightness of being. I'm seeing the butterflies here, and it's reminding me of butterfly migration in October. So there might be something really coming through, some big moment, a harvest moment that comes through for you in October of 2026 in relation to this path you're coming into alignment with. Transforms your whole life with the butterflies there. There could be something you're transforming with an air sign. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius here. Something that's transforming. You're getting out of a time of sort of fumbling your way through the dark wood. I feel like a clearing is up ahead, and it's a path that brings the light back into your life. So this is good. Anything more on the good fortune heading Aquarius's way? Great fortune is what's heading your way. Wow. We got a lot of 8s here. So your money's going to be really good. I feel like you're going to be feeling really strong. You've overcome a lot of challenges in your past. And I think you're going to feel very fortunate. But there's every indication here that it's sort of like really understanding that wealth extends beyond monetary gain, though the finances look excellent, okay? Very clear indication of that. Yeah, the 9 of Pentacles, I feel like eventually it goes to the 10 here. But I feel like the fortune is not just in what you gain materially here, but you're really experiencing this healing that's coming through, having a real good community around you, feeling supported by others, having a healing occur within the family, among loved ones, getting to the other side of a tricky situation, and you're just going to feel really rich. And I feel like there's a real recognition of this that comes through. I feel like you get the first indication of this in February, and then there's like another moment where there's like some renewal that comes in. Maybe this renewal comes in around the health concern, because we had that Ace of Cups come in relation to getting some good news about health, maybe somebody you're concerned about or testing you're going through. So I feel like, you know, there's first like just a turning of the tide in February that comes in for you, that you finally understand something you didn't understand before. You really are getting some piece of information that comes through there that has you looking at your future in a very different way and what's possible for you. And then after that, I feel in June, there's really this moment of feeling a reinvigoration. You know, you're getting some good news about a health concern. You're finding that the approach you've been taking to resolve some health issues is the right approach. So this is relieving a lot of stress. And then I feel like August, this is when you really have your harvest come in. Materially, I see something paying off, but I also feel like you feel very wealthy just because of everything that's been balanced out in your life. And there's this new pathway opening up for you, and you start to see that you got through a real dark passage, and now it's like the sun is coming into view, the light is building in your life. This is a really good energy, okay? I like this for you. Very positive, right? So where you thought you were going to hear some really bad news on a legal level, not going to be so, okay? Somebody's going to give a little. They might have really been intractable at some point, but now they're recognizing that it's better to compromise in a situation. That's what I got here. Let me get some spiritual guidance for you. I'm going to pull out the Infinite Tarot here to get your spiritual guidance. Just to understand what elemental qualities should you bring in to balance things out? What will support you most at this time? What do you need to understand about what's unfolding for you on your path in 2026? Spiritual guidance, please, for Aquarius. Okay. Bottom of the deck. Ooh, look at this. King of Fire. You're ready to blaze a trail. A lot of transformation happening here. I see you making it up to that Stargate. This is the year where you finally make the climb. I think there's a long journey you've been on here. There's been a lot you've discovered along the way, but this is when you finally get to the summit. It's like the peak level of the experience, and you do go through that ring of fire, and whatever you're stepping into there on the 17th of February with your new moon energy, it does start a cycle of calling in what's going to give you true happiness here. And there's something that you'll feel very proud of in the end. There could be a fire sign that plays a strong role in this meetup point, this date with destiny that leads to your happiness. I feel like you got your fire very strongly forward here. Right? So if you're wondering, should I make the climb? Should I make the effort? Yes, you should. You should, okay? Because you're pushing the boulders out of your way, so you don't have to be like Sisyphus here. You know, just relentlessly pulling this, you know, extra weight that you do not need to, holding more than your share. You know, you can just let that go and just continue on your road, and move up to that point of getting that bird's eye view at the top of the mountain and seeing that you've traveled a lot of distance. I think there's almost like this point that's going to come through where you're going to have this spiritual perspective. Once you get to the top of that summit, you're going to be able to like look over the journey you've been on and get a different perspective. And I think there's a lot of reward that comes through that. We got King of Water here. Okay, so this is about letting the defenses come down. You're meant to bring your water forward at this time. It's time to unmask yourself, you know, let your true self be seen. Let the emotions rise to the surface. Allow yourself to express what you're feeling and understand where you do have defenses up. It's because there's some kind of hurt there. There's some kind of wounding that Spirit's wanting you to hold space for. It's necessary in order to bring about harmony in a situation where there's been complication with loved ones that, you know, you're hoping to get to the other side of these challenges with. Also, there's something about letting out your emotions through song. Some of you may be songwriters. Some of you may be musicians, okay? You may be experiencing, maybe that's what you were experiencing, challenges and some kind of creative collaboration. Maybe you're in a band and there was a little bit of some problems going on. Things weren't in harmony for a while there, but you know, maybe it's about really making it clear where there's been discrepancies too. Like, hey, I feel like you're not respecting my creative vision, or I would like to have a little bit more say, or maybe I want to, you know, maybe I want to sing that song that I wrote instead of you singing. Maybe you can play a more background role on this song, you know, something like this coming through. I feel like the journey you've been on has really inspired you creatively, and certainly if you are a musician, it's inspired a lot of material that you've been writing. You might even be putting together an album, right? I think you're going to have just the right blend that comes through here. This is also about bringing about harmony in a situation among people that are very important to you. You don't want there to be these conflicts, this disharmony. So there's more indications of where you do make the effort, where you reveal true intentions, where you speak from the heart, where you set something in motion from the heart. There will be the ability to get everybody on the same page again, to create harmony in a situation where there's been some kind of conflict. So yes, do invest in this, okay? And there we got the knot there. See, because this is the matter you're tending to right now. You come in with the Joker of Water here. There's too much that's held in emotionally. There's too much manipulation that's going on emotionally. There's too much that's like holding the emotions back because of somebody feeling very controlled, you know, to compromise with something that they don't really feel like compromising with. And there's a need to release this constriction. So this can come through, but you know, it's coming before the tale of the Gordian knot and Alexander the Great, where everybody was trying to figure out how to, you know, untie this knot, something that was impossible to resolve. And Alexander the Great just took his sword and just cut through it. And sometimes that's what you need to do. I mean, Aquarians can be very good at that, around really just understanding what needs to be done, taking a very decisive approach. Sometimes people may consider it to be cold or calculating, but sometimes it's just the most direct, no-fuss way to go about something, okay? So I think you're going to cut to the chase. Yep, and with that, we got the high Ace of Sky, look. And so this is what you're meant to do. Where you do need to issue a communication, okay, that's very clear, that's very direct, that cuts through the illusion, that can bring about peace, do so, because it's what will bring a lot of release in this situation. And I think it is the answer to your prayers. This is a a case where, you know, this is not about, you know, something coming in to save you. This is about you doing what you need to do to set this in motion and reclaim these wishes that have been cast on the wind here. This could be connected to an air sign energy. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, okay? I feel like where the decisive action is taken and there's truth communicated here in a very clear, direct way where the emotions aren't held back and there's no sense of being worked or manipulation. There's a way to regain optimism in this situation, and there are indications of wishes being fulfilled and prayers being heard, prayers being answered, but sort of recognizing that, like, you are your own savior, you know? It's through you taking action on the truth once this is revealed to you that sort of like saves the day here. Okay, beautiful energy. Cut of the deck. Look at that. Your energy coming through so strongly, water family. So yes, this is you entering that waterway, letting the emotions flow and allowing yourself to be carried forward to that point of your destiny. I do see that, you know, even now, you know, you're starting to get harmonized with your orientation here, right? You're not quite there yet. We got the river in reverse, okay? You haven't quite entered this flow yet, but you're getting a little bit of a different view. It's like you're kind of going south first before you head due north. You'll get your orientation correct, but there's something that you need to recover as far as some essential truth here that really sets you free. But you will be clued into that, all right? And from there, it's effortless flow. I feel like this flow really comes in for you in your season, okay? In Aquarius season, you'll know how to bring this thing together. I need to get a power move for you to cap this off. So let's see. Let's bring this in. I'm going to bring in the Herbal Astrology Oracle for you to get your power move to close this out for Aquarius. What is Aquarius's power move in 2026? What is Aquarius's power move in 2026? What is Aquarius's power move in 2026? We already know that any perceived limitations are only in your head, okay? And there is something about the truth really setting you free. And dreams are within reach, but they do require you taking decisive action. I mean, this is something that is pretty clear. You don't want to just sit on the truth once it's been made clear to you. You do want to take some kind of action here, Aquarius. What is the power move for Aquarius in 2026? Bottom of the deck. Wow, really coming through your community. And there's a lot of transformation occurring here. You could be coming together in creative community. I mean, there's a lot of indications about musicians here. I like this energy. There's something that really comes through with that new moon in Capricorn in January that gives you an indication about just how much you are supported, what people really do have your back. And I mean, for those of you who are musicians, I mean, you may be finding a lot of camaraderie with your band. Like, if you've been having arguments or something, something's transforming there. You're back on the bandwagon. Like, maybe you're deciding to go on tour after all. You might have been thinking of calling it quits. Maybe there's a reunion tour for some of you. Maybe the band hasn't gotten together in a while and you're heading out on the road. But I also feel like there's a sense of transformation, you know. Maybe you didn't realize how supported you were by your community. You didn't really realize how many people were in your corner. And this is something you're recognizing, you know. The blinders are off. You really realize, like, who's got your back, who believes in you, who supports you. And there's some beautiful transformation happening here. I feel like there's a special moment coming in here where you really feel how supported you are by your community, or how you found the right group of people to connect with here. 1:44:01 on the clock. Absolutely.
I do feel like there's a lot of synchronicity around people that are coming into your life, people that will become your community. And there's a new sense of just strength and resolve in these people that you're connecting with here. They really have helped you pull through some very tough times, okay? And there's this moment, I feel like it's a flicker in time, you know? It's some like magical moment where you're kind of looking around the people you got around you and you realize I got some real good people here, you know? And life's good. There's something about feeling really supported by your community. So that's a beautiful message. Beautiful message coming in for you. Look for those synchronicities, 444, you know, 44, master builder numbers, people you're going to be manifesting with. These are people you're going to actually be creating with, you know, materially. You're going to be building something together, bringing something together with this community. It's really beautiful energy. What is Aquarius's power move in 2026? Wow, man, it is so clear. Commune. It's all about coming together with people, seeing eye to eye with each other, really recognizing where there's soul recognition, feeding those connections. I also feel like you're communing with nature. You're getting more back to basics, more back to things that really feed and nourish your soul. You know, some of you are very drawn to the magical realms. I do feel like there's a lot stirring there for you. Maybe you're discovering a new kind of magic. Maybe you're being initiated into a nature-based tradition too. This might be something you're exploring. You might be finding spiritual community here. Whatever it is, it comes in with the energy of 13, so 4. There's something powerful that you're communing with here, coming into alignment with here. You feel really supported. It's a beautiful transformation. And there's judgment. You know, there's some kind of judgment in your favor here. It ends a time of darkness, all that heavy territory you move through with Pluto, and it puts you back in the sun. So this is beautiful. This is all about what you're coming together with here is really what's powering you up. So it's kind of got like it takes a village energy, and you finally got the right blend of people to pull something off, you know? And it feels really positive. It feels really good for you. So come together where you feel drawn, where you see that soul recognition. That's your power move, okay? Don't try to isolate yourself. Let other people in. All right, let's get some numbers of interest for you in 2026. Numbers of interest for Aquarius. Okay, we have life path 3, life path 6, life path 5, life path 2. All right, I do feel like there's a lot of spiritual guidance coming in for you. You may feel more drawn to sort of trip the light fantastic out on the ether, you know? You're getting more into maybe different spiritual practices like meditation, and maybe even feel like you're starting to have a lot more intuitive information coming through that's guiding your next steps. There's something about a lot of communication coming through spiritual guidance here. Also, maybe you feel like there's somebody that's like your match here, and you two have the ability to communicate on that level, you know. There's like some kind of synergy there. We got Gemini energy coming in pretty strongly around that. 6 energy too, Venusian energy, Libra energy, Taurus energy coming in there. Also could be 6th house, okay? Something could be very creatively inspired in your work. You may feel it's a little bit of amusing inspiration coming through, something you're meant to draw down and root in material reality. Some of you may be getting into maybe some kind of spiritual work, metaphysical line of work. And some of you are initiating. You're initiating into a new spiritual tradition, like some kind of earth-based tradition. Okay, I could see that. There's also something here about if you do invest in that direction, like if you felt called in that direction, I do feel like it is a calling, and there's something that does bring about growth for you, transformation, but it also roots things materially for you. You might be partnering with somebody on that too, like developing some kind of business idea that maybe has some kind of spiritual or transformation component to it. I do feel like there's something that has been a bit of a mystery. It's been a secret, but there's illumination coming in. You're getting some kind of communication that is helping you make what has been a very difficult choice. But once you have the communication, the truth about the situation, it's very easy to release yourself from this crossroads and you step into a new cycle of manifestation here. I feel like February is when things really start to launch for you. That grows into March and June through August, something really comes to a state of culmination there. On the other side of what you had to release or close out, there's like some process of you're simultaneously letting something go as you're building momentum to draw something new here in. I don't feel like that's fully completed until August, okay? People who could be factoring into your situation, there could be a Taurus, there could be an Aquarian like you. I feel like this is a very personally significant year for you, 2026 coming in here. There could be a Leo connected to your situation, a Gemini, a Cancer, a Leo, a Virgo, real strong Leo, Virgo indications in this situation too, that might have something to do with what you need to adjust, bring a sense of completion to. It could be like a past matter that needs to be ironed out. All right, let's go ahead and get some messages. It's interesting, when I picked up the bag, the little tree here rocked. Okay, so something could have sort of rocked your roots in relation to this. Rocked your roots. So this could have been something that was causing those family issues or instability in the home, or created upheaval with something you were really trying to get rooted, get solidified. Okay, there was shakeups, foundation in relation to that. Okay, let's see what messages we got coming through here. I got the name Dell. There could also be something coming through Dell laptop, It's something that's been going on online. The name Adele, rolling in the deep. You could have had it all. There's something here. You're thinking about something. You might be doing a little research online, or somebody is looking at you online, trying to figure out how can we turn this around. Wanting to create a win-win situation where there's been a lot of loss. There is somebody doing intel here. I see this, okay? Where they're doing intel, I think they're doing intel online. It almost makes me feel like somebody's trying to get the upper hand in a situation by doing a little super sleuthing. Somebody may also work in tech, or they may work, for some company that gives them access to take advantage of, certain access they have that allows them to maybe get some intel that's not really ethical, could get them caught up. If that's the case, if somebody's been doing something like that where they think that they're moving undercover, something's already been spotted, it's already been seen, it's already being looked into. So I'd be careful. JS with that, just saying, okay? JS initials could be significant in relation to that, for that to come in. It made me think of text, though. Just saying, like somebody says just saying a lot, Yeah, be careful. You may need to be alerted to this, okay? There could be somebody, if your initials are JS, you should be alerted that there may be somebody that is looking into something they should not be looking into. They're taking advantage of their position to be able to do a little intel because they're hoping to get the upper hand in a situation, and it's gonna bite them in the ass. That's what I see. Somebody needs to be careful here. I'm seeing a couple initials really stand out in relation to this. I got 2 G's, I got 2 P's, I got 2 B's. All right. So somebody involved in that could have these initials, G or P or B, in their name. They may have gotten away with something for a while, but I feel like this is the year their deeds will be seen. They'll get caught up. So be a good time to have a New Year's resolution and maybe mind your own for whoever's spying on you. This could be like a little cross-watcher energy coming through. If you know that you've been like keeping an eye on somebody, you might want to rethink that, because I feel like where somebody's got an eye on somebody and they've been peering into areas that are security breaches, somebody's got an eye on them. They're being watched too. The intel goes both ways. And I feel like that's coming forward in more of a legal way, an authority way, or like the head of the company or something is like, what's up with this? Like something's off here. Okay. So just be aware of that. Be aware of that. I think it's something that you should be alerted to. There's a kiss coming in here. There's something about a significant kiss. I don't know if it's a first kiss or it's a kiss that knocks your socks off, but there's something about this kiss that really is standing out here. Maybe that's somebody's wish. They just want one last kiss. I do feel like where they want that, they will get that, because kiss is coming out pretty strongly here. I got the name Jera coming in relation to this. Okay. And I feel like once there's that kind of connection point there, it's all up from there. Where something's been really challenged, it's like maybe there just needs to be something so pure, something so simple as just like a kiss, like looking eye to eye with somebody, like getting back to that place, before all this junk. Like something really tampered with a connection here and made things super messy. And there just seems like there's been too much nosiness, butting into other people's business. Like, I don't like it, man. With Gigi here too, it makes me think grandma. I mean, there could be like a grandma in a situation too who means well, but might be operating a little bit like a Madame Rufflebonnet, or there could be somebody that just kind of, they're sort of old and stuck in their ways. They may not even be old. They just act like a grandma, micromanaging, kind of everybody's business, and feeling like, they need to know all the details of what's going on with everybody. And there's something about this that's been really problematic. And there's two people here that just need to kiss and make up, okay? There's something about they just need to look eye to eye with each other and strip away all of that BS and get back to what's of real importance here, okay? There's something about really embracing now, needing to get out of being so focused on the past or worrying about the future, but what can you do right now? That's the orientation that's really going to get you where you need to go in this next turning of the wheel. It does look really positive for you here. I do see New Jersey coming through as a place of interest. Delaware, Indiana, Kansas City specifically. There's something about the ER here. I do feel like there's going to be some kind of like medical emergency or something, but where there's concern about this, I do feel like things are going to look up. Like there is some positive course of action to take with all this. It's going to really start to turn things around in that situation. I think you got an in, where you need one, some assistance where you need one. You might want to change your pins, okay? This coming through because there's some kind of online tampering here. Somebody's trying to get access to your pins. Like you might want to update your online security. It's just coming through pretty strongly, so. All right. That's what I got. I mean, all in all, it looks good. It looks like transformation. It looks like getting to the other side of challenges. It looks like getting back to what really matters. And oh, that's interesting. I see pine here. But you know what pine is making me think of? It's not making me think of trees. It's making me think of a song by Ruby. Okay? And that's from the 90s. She has a song called Pine on her album. I think it was called Tiny Me. Tiny Me. And it was referring to the heart. It was the tiny me. Like somebody's had a real small constricted heart, but something is causing the heart to expand here. But I will put a link in the comments section as well as the lyrics to this song Pine, because I feel like that's what is connected. And I got the name Ariel coming in connection with this, the Little Mermaid. Maybe somebody who gave up their voice, gave up the truth of who they were just so they could come into alignment with who they felt was the dashing prince. I don't know. There could be some like mermaid connection coming in here. That song Pine, it has a message for you. So I will put the lyrics and a link to that song in the comment. It's kind of a dark song, I have to tell you. But I do think it's a cautionary tale about not giving up what is essentially you, something that is very true for you, that's in alignment with you, just for the sake of like outer appearances of things, or to gain the favor or gain an in a certain circle. Like there's something that is being understood here in hindsight. And whoever this is who is meddling online, that's in danger of getting themselves in some trouble here, I feel like it's somebody who's pining, they're pining for yesterday, or it could be like a little bit obsessive, unhealthy. So do be aware of this influence, all right? I feel like you do have protection here though from that evil eye, anybody who covet something that is meant for you. And I do feel like where the truth has been elusive, there's some telling signs of the way that things truly are that is coming in here that's going to set things right. I got Ine coming in around that. So this could be coming in through like ancestry, spiritual families, spiritual guidance. I also got the name Eli in relation to this. I also have Pele coming in here. Okay. So something could be a little heated. It could be a little explosive when this comes up and out, but it does form new topography. It does create transformation and a new way forward. Also, Hawaii connection coming in there. There could be a DJ that's connected as well in this situation coming through. Either way, I feel like when all's said and done, you come up with a win-win solution to your most pressing problem. And there is some alignment. There's somebody you're coming into connection with here. Just one kiss. That's all it takes, right? Beautiful energy. Enjoy the new year. It's going to be a year of overcoming previous challenges and things finally looking up. Godspeed, Aquarius.